My name is Simeon Schaefer, and my co founder's name is Aiden Tony. And we created the company Xygos around the idea that you can increase the efficiency of learning math and other STEM subjects by at least 10 times, hopefully 100 times. So, before we start, I want to define some terms here because I think learning itself is an extremely vague idea that is very seldom properly defined. So the definition that we like to use at Zygos is that it is an acquisition of skills over time. What does that mean? If you can't find a difference between what a student is able to do before and after spending time on a class, they're not learning. Learning only happens when you can measurably see a change in their state. The idea that initially led us to believing that there's improvement to be made over the education system is that I, as a student, noticed that the vast majority of the time that I spent inside a lecture, there was no delta. There was no change in my skill, meaning that I was not actually learning. And I found that I would only actually start learning after I was able to painfully struggle through finding where important information was, particularly information on how to solve the problems that we are expected to solve on all of our graded work. So we believe that a system designed completely around giving the student context around how to solve problems is the key to opening up an exponential increase in the efficiency of learning. Because the point in time where you're actually seeing that change in ability is the point in time where you are just starting to solve problems for yourself. And Zygos is designed to put students into that environment as soon as possible. So, this is the actual Xygos product. It's a learning interface designed so that you as the student are solving the problem on your phone. And what that allows you to do is everything listed here. Things are visualized, there's tactile feedback, and finally, it allows for significant amounts of information to be communicated without words, which means students don't have to sift through text walls that are difficult to understand and kind of vague and not really clear how they translate into actual step-by-step actions. As far as monetization and business strategy, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel with our business. Xygos will be an app on the app stores. It will have a subscription model where there's a set of free features centered around our core interface, and we're going to have monetized features, particularly features centered around components of the curriculum, AI-related components, and potential cosmetic-related features. And we plan to market our product with a combination of organic growth on these stores, as well as App Store advertising and social media campaigns. As far as development goes, both of our co-founders are capable of coding, and we both have separate roles in the development process. We built everything from scratch in Apple's Swift platform, and we're able to transition from a basic proof of concept to a minimum viable product that was beta tested with real students, and then finally, an actual app released on the App Store within a period of about a year and a half. We've had 26 different interviews with individual students and 850 unique downloads of the app. Here's a quote from one of our students that we interviewed. There are plenty more like this, and we found that it was overwhelmingly easy to convince students to try it out. We would go door to door outside calculus classes at our schools, and we found that we were able to get over 50% of the people that we stopped coming out of the class to download the app. So this is a layout of our competition. I want to specify right now that we need to keep in mind the classroom is still 99% of the market. But with that being said, we selected these competitors as our more direct digital competition. The main point here is that our interface is completely unique. No one else has invented an interface where you're using touchscreen gestures to solve a problem in order to learn how to do math and other STEM subjects. The scope of Xygos currently is primarily Calculus 1 to start, and we've recently expanded into algebra. We have a long road ahead of us in terms of what we need to do next. But the scope of our concept applies just as well to any of these courses as it would to Calculus 1. This is our long-term business roadmap, and I would like to specify we are not solving the problem of, man, it really seems like math apps just aren't good enough. There's plenty of math apps. The problem we're solving is, why does it take 100 hours to learn a math course when the vast majority of the time you're not actually doing anything or learning anything? Our long-term goal is to get enough students learning far ahead of their traditional classes that parents start creating significant demand to have the schools allow for students to take something like Xygos or competitors instead of their class, not on top of it, so long as they meet the same standards during test taking. This is our team. Again, we are both engineering students. I am a aerospace engineering student. My co-founder is computer science, and both of us have been coding. That concludes our presentation. I strongly recommend that you take a look at Xygos as it is currently on the App Store and just try it out for 15 seconds. That helps significantly in understanding what it's like to actually use our unique interface and how effectively it can teach you in just a few seconds.